All right, here we are at the end of the season of the 1993 replay. Entered into 1993 at the start of the season. Took over as the Rockies, but we're going to first take a look here at the general league and how things are going. As you probably know, if you're a 90s baseball fan, you had to straight up win your division back then in 93 and 94. However, 94 did not have a playoff because of the strike. I'm sorry, 94 actually was the first proposed year. You did have to win your division, but you could make the wild card as well. So 93, no wild card. 94 was going to be the wild card. 95 ended up being the first wild card season and 3 division format. So you had an East, a Central, and a West. But in 93 here, just have an East and a West. So you run into some funny things like the Braves being in the West and the Reds being in the West because there's just so many Eastern teams. So it just kind of, I guess, made sense. You know, maybe you could have had the Cardinals in the West. That might have made a little more sense. They call St. Louis the gateway to the West, right? I don't know. Anyway, let's take a look at where we're at here in 93 with teams. So the Phillies have clinched. There's been some moves here, so not everyone's on the same teams that they started on. Let's take a look at the Phillies right away. They're 89 wins, first in runs scored, as you can see here, first in striking people out defensively, 21st on defense. So they have a lot of strikeout pitchers, but their ERA actually isn't great, and their defense isn't great. But they still they out hit for that. So batting average is 4th in the NL. On base percentage is 1st. You can see they're really high in a lot of offensive numbers here. Darren Dalton, Dave Hollins, Mariano Duncan, just some great hitters here. Dykstra and Kruk are ranked 1st at their position. Kruk is a right fielder. Obviously, he can play some first base, as you remember in real life, but they got him in right field. They got Dave Hollins at first base. Hollins, did he stick with the Phillies? Let's look at his real life stats. Yeah, he did until 95. That's when he got traded to Boston when he was 29. He only had 13 at bats, I guess, for them. I assume he was traded. I don't think he would have been picked up on waivers because he was doing real well with Philadelphia. OPS and over 800, 26% over the average park adjusted OPS, and he continued to have a really good career after that. But that's their lineup. They got Schilling, who got 20 wins here. We're at the very end of the season. We have 1 game left here. Schilling is pitching 1 more game, so he might get 21 wins. Danny Jackson, a sub-3 ERA. Their bullpen, they have Larry Anderson. Their bullpen looks rough. And let's see how bullpen ERA is actually last in the NL. So it's even worse than the Colorado Rockies. Let's take a look at some more teams. So Pittsburgh had a good year, 84 and 77. You know, in 93, in real life, I don't think they were very good. But they had Andy Van Slyke, Al Martin came up. They had gotten rid of Bonds in 93. Well, not gotten rid of him, but I believe just did not re-sign him, and then he signed with the Giants. But let's take a look at some of the division leaders here. Yankees have clinched as well over the Orioles. 91 wins for the Yanks here. Top in the AL in batting average, on base percentage. They're 2nd in runs scored in the AL. They're 3rd in the MLB in runs scored. Top in the MLB in batting average. Let's take a look at some of their hitters. Bernie Williams leading off at 299. They traded for Hal Morris to Cincinnati. Let's see what this trade was here. So they traded Randy Velarde, pretty average major leaguer. You know, he wasn't having a great year, but ended up with, he had 10 jacks when they traded him. He went a little downhill when he went to the Reds, but traded Randy Velarde and got Hal Morris. It's a pretty decent deal. They're on the same salaries, and New York also received a prospect. So that's an interesting trade. I think Cincinnati, you know, got the raw end of that deal. Mark Merchant, I haven't heard of that guy. Did he make the majors in real life? No, he was just a double A, triple A guy. Didn't make the majors. Mark Merchant. Looks like he's in double A right now for the Yanks. So anyway, they got Hal Morris at first base hitting second. They got Wade Boggs, high average guy. He's hitting 290 and he's in the 8 hole. Silvestri's kind of the only guy standing out as far as not a great hitter, but he is slugging 381. Not horrible, not great, of course. But they got Paul O'Neill. Looking over here at the rankings, Bernie Williams, second-ranked center fielder behind Darren Dalton, who we just saw. Brian Jordan, Mike Gallego hitting over 300. So they can hit, man. Let's see what else they're good at. They're 9th in home runs, 1st in runs against, and their bullpen and starters ERA are 2nd in the AL. So they got Melindo Perez, Jimmy Key, all these guys in ERA in the 3s. Melindo is right at 3. John Habian's their closer, 356, a little high, but he's got 31 saves, and they got some other good guys in their pen. Paul O'Neill leading their team in average, Mike Stanley leading their team in jacks. So that's the Yankees for you. Let's take a look at the Rangers and the White Sox tied for the AL West. So Rangers, Kevin Brown is their ace. They got Charlie LeBrandt as their number 2. Nolan Ryan, 46 years old, as their 3. John Detmer, haven't heard of this guy. Let's see, did he make it to the bigs in real life? He did. He came up to Texas in 94 and 95, so kind of was bouncing between the majors and the minors, but he's having a real good year. 258 ERA. He's pitched 125 innings, so that's no fluke. He's 11-1. They just, they have him as their 5, I guess, for some reason. His ratings aren't great. Now, this is according to my scout, which they do have a high confidence on this guy, but I have the game set up. That's a cool aspect you can do in this game is it's according to your scout. If you want to do that, you can set everything to 100% accurate and not use a scout, but I use a scout option. Of course, they got Palmeiro, Pudge, Juan Gonzalez, Mickey Morandini leading things off. Not a great leadoff guy, 274 on base percentage. That's kind of an interesting choice. But I don't know. He must be fast. Yeah, they like that he's fast. They got him in the lineup because of his speed, and looks like his defense is pretty good over here. Doesn't make a lot of errors. Pretty decent range. They got Canseco hitting 8th. Pudge leading their team in batting average. Palmeiro, Juan Gon leading in jacks with 30s. They're in the 30s. So that's their team. They have Gerald Young at shortstop. He is someone that I traded while over here for whatever. This must just be their lineup right now. Is Young hurt? He's out. He's out for 2 weeks. I traded Gerald Young. He was a Rocky. He was having an outstanding year. You'd say, why would you trade him? Well, he's a free agent after this year. So he's a rental for them. He was having a good year. I got Rob Nen out of it, who isn't yet developed. He's not the pitcher that he was in real life, but I have him in AAA. He's pitched 5 innings in AAA. He did well in single A. So, here's his outlook. He's still not good with his control or movement, but he's got good potential. So I got Nen out of the deal. I got rid of Wayne, who was a reliever on a high contract. Looks like he ended up doing great for them. He was doing pretty well for me as well. And I got Brian Bohannon, who in real life ended up being a Rocky, not when he was this young at 25, but you can see that 3.82 ERA with me in 33 innings pitched. He was doing fine down in AAA, so I called him up. He's not super impressive with his ratings, but I thought, toss him in there. They gave me him too, and then I got another pitcher, so a relief guy with high stuff potential, 75 stuff on the 20 to 80 scale for James Franklin there. So that was the deal that gave them Gerald Young. He's a good player. He's the 9th ranked shortstop in the game. Maybe I should have gotten more out of it, but I don't think he was valued as high because he's a rental. He's a free agent after this year. They can try to re-sign him, but he was asking for big money that I just didn't want to give him. I'm a first season expansion team. I don't have that much money yet. And I got some prospects, some good middle infielders that I wanted to try at shortstop. Let's take a look at the White Sox. They're tied coming into the final game here. They first in runs scored in the AL. tied. Well, oh yeah, here we go. Second in runs scored in the MLB. Looks like that's their MO. Besides their starters ERA is first too, so they can pitch, and their bullpen is pretty good. It's good enough. 5th in the AL. Yeah, 2 guys with 19 wins. Jack McDowell, Alex Fernandez. All their guys are under a 4 ERA, all their starters, and they're just pretty solid all around pitching. Fernandez, the 10th best pitcher in the game, starting pitcher Roberto Hernandez. Ooh, he's out right now. He's out for 9 months, so he's done for the season. Looks like he only pitched 13 innings for him, and then he got hurt. So let's take a look at their lineup. We all know they got big hurt. Frank Thomas had 26 jacks, 100 RBIs, 274. That's down for him compared to real life, but he's still OPS really high. Look at that, 373 on base percentage, 455 slugging. In 92, he had a ridiculous year. Look at that. He had 536 slugging and 439 on base percentage. Wow. So he's a beast. Maybe a slight down year for him, which is still a good year. Ellis Burks ended up being a Rocky in real life, Colorado Rocky, having a great year. They got Mickey Brantley hitting cleanup. Robin Ventura, obviously a great player of the 90s. He's 26 years old, known for charging Nolan Ryan on the mound and getting into a headlock, getting punched. So, yeah, solid team here for the White Sox. Let's look over finally at the NL West. We got the Stros and the Braves, who I'm playing here in my final game, trying to ruin their playoff hopes. Both teams at 100 wins. The AL West is stacked with these 2 teams. So let's take a look at the Stros first. Top in batting average, 2nd in on-base percentage, 1st in OPS in the NL. And looks like they're 2nd in batting average here in the MLB, but they're not really showing up anywhere else in the top 3 as far as these main categories: batting average, home runs, and runs scored. But yeah, look at base running. They're just high in everything. Starters ERA, bullpen ERA 2nd. I mean, their worst thing is their defense, and it's 10th. So they're looking solid. Here's some of their best ranked players. Bagwell, 2nd best first baseman in the game. Of course, Biggio, Luis Gonzalez, Jim Lindemann in center field. Not a big recognizable name in real life. Here's his real life stats. He was 31 on Houston. He was good, but he only had 23 at bats. Must have just, I don't know if he was hurt or what throughout his career. But this is MLB. You just bounce between. Looks like he was bouncing a lot between AAA and the majors. But in this game, he was an all-star this year. He's hitting cleanup for him. Sorry, no, he's hitting 6th. Why did I think he was cleanup? He's hitting 6th, and he's also the 6th best center fielder in the game. Doug Drabeck, 2nd best starting pitcher in the game. Xavier Hernandez, just some studs. I played this team a lot since they were in the NL West, and I'm in the NL West. But yeah, they're going to be tough in the playoffs. So are the Braves. We all know the 90s Braves. 1993 Braves with Maddox, Avery, Smoltz, Glavine, and even their number 5, Mike Birkbeck. Sorry, I don't really know this guy. Usually wasn't it? Who were we missing? Glavine. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I don't think it was. Maybe it was Nagel. Nagel was maybe later into the 90s. Let's check a look. Check out this guy here. So he actually was never on the Braves in real life. He was with the Milwaukee Brewers into the into the end of the 80s, and then he was out for a couple of years. Must have been hurt, out again. But he's 32 in this game. Looks like he goes to arbitration next year or after this season. But he's filling in as a great number 5. So just look at those ridiculous ERAs. Maddox, top-ranked starting pitcher in the game. No surprise there. Bullpen is just unbelievable. It's got to be, 1st in all the pitching categories. Pitching WAR. Defense is 6th average in the NL. I don't believe Chipper was brought up in real life yet. Let's see, in 93, was he up? He was for 8 games. was mostly a AAA guy. And then 94, I don't know, maybe they kept him down. Yeah, 94, they don't have stats on him. 95, then, of course, was his breakout year. He was a stud, 800 OPS, had 23 jacks, 30 jacks the next year. But he's up in this game. He's up. He's hitting sixth. He's not having a great year, but they got him at second base. Interestingly, they keep Blauser at short. So I do remember that in real life. Like, what were they going to do with Jeff Blauser? And they just kept him on the team. I guess in 94, he was there because Chipper wasn't. And then 95, 96, he stayed on the team. So kind of just more of a bench guy, but still got a lot of plate appearances here. Yeah, I mean, 495, 430. So they just worked him in a lot, I guess. Maybe just giving other guys days off. Just a good problem to have, right? Looks like he's on a rough contract for them. 2.4 mil, which is kind of high in this game. That's pretty high. It's top-notch money, and signed through 2000. He is very popular, so they're invested in Blauser, and he's only 27 years old. So Chipper might be a second baseman in this game. Might never go to shortstop. He can play short, obviously, but he's developed more here at second, and he's got good ability to be anywhere in the infield. He's a top-ranked prospect in the game. So that's the Braves for you. David Justice hitting cleanup, almost 100 ribs. Klesko, almost 100 ribs. Gant, almost 100 ribs. So I'm playing them. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna sim this game out and then see what happens. It's the final game of the year. See if I can ruin the Braves' playoff chances. The game was canceled due to bad weather. Wow. Okay, so then it's just pushed off to the next day, apparently here. And so now we're facing Smoltz because they got an extra day of rest, I guess. And so they have to play this playoff game. Looks like the Astros, let's go back to that. Astros lost, so they're a half game back. So if the Braves lose, if I can spoil that, I guess I'm just sending them to a playoff then. If the Braves win, then they win the NL West. This is actually really similar scenario to real life. What happened? I believe it was in '93, where the Braves, but it wasn't the Astros. It was the Giants won 100 games and did not make the playoffs because the Braves were just that good and there was no wild card. So anyway, here we go. Let's look at the lineups. They got Dion leading off. He, in real life, he was a stud, but he wasn't, he wasn't what you thought of right away when you thought of the Braves. He just wasn't a regular player. Like, he was coming off the bench, but you can see he was above average with his OPS plus 100 is average. He was in 92, ridiculous, 45% above average. He hit 300. He had 14 triples. So, 93, he was still good. 94, he was good. He ended up going to Cincinnati, and he had a good year with San Fran in 95, but he wasn't always a regular starter. It's hard when you're playing two professional sports to be a regular starter, just day in and day out, man. Anyway, they got him leading off. Maybe in this game he's not playing football. Yeah, it looks like they're pretty much their normal lineup here. We're facing Smoltz, so we're gonna look at our lineup. I made a lot of moves here. A lot of guys that were in the Rockies organization in the minors that I brought up. Some guys I traded for, but I don't think anyone on my major league squad except for Pedro Munoz I traded for. He was the only one. So traded I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Nelson Lariano. We can check that out later. But he's a prospect. He's on the 40-man, so I brought him up here. He's only had 14 at bats, but he was doing all right in AAA. So anyway, Braulio Castillo, he's been a big surprise for us. Ratings aren't great, but his gap power is. But, everything else, below average home runs, strikes out, average contact and eye. He's fast, though. He's good defensively, but he's had a great year. 840 OPS for me. And also playing at Mile High instead of Coors Field, the ballpark is not as hitter-friendly. It's still at altitude, of course. It's still hitter-friendly. But here's Braulio's real-life stats. just barely came up. He was mostly a minor league guy, and here's his stats in the game. So he's got a 124 OPS plus with me. So 24% above average park adjusted as well. So I like that, you know, obviously. So he's got a 840 OPS, and it's still good, even though he's playing a lot of games at altitude. I got him leading off. Hubbard, I usually have hitting second. We might put Bichette in the lineup. Bichette's not the real Bichette, and unfortunately in this game, you know, he's I've given him 470 at bats, a lot of at bats. He's slugged 413, not bad. I mean, that's pretty decent, but on base 319. So his OPS is actually a little worse than Hubbard's, barely by a point. But I do like Dante in here. I've been, you know, Dante has come off the bench for me a little bit, pinch hit lately, so I'm going to give him a start. Maybe we'll even we'll take Mote out because he's been cold. Trent Hubbard is a great utility guy. He could play second base. High on base percentage here, 342. I'm going to go Castellano in the 2-hole, though. I've been doing that lately. He was a great prospect for the Rockies in real life. He just never panned out. I don't know what happened. You know, they brought him up in 95. I don't know if they really ever gave him a chance. He was good in AAA in 94 and 93. But, you know, they had Castilla. Castilla, that was his breakout year in 95. So Castilla was the third baseman. I do have Castilla in this game. He's hurt. Here he is hurt, and he was in AAA, doing all right, doing well. So I brought him up, and he was doing all right. He was kind of my starting shortstop. He was a shortstop in real life until they moved him to third. So anyway, Castellano has been up most of the year. I traded Charlie Hayes, my regular third baseman. Maybe that's who I got Munoz for, but I can't recall. But I got rid of Hayes I mean, why not? Like, Hayes was on a bigger contract, and I got these get prospects coming up. So I like his 360 OBP. He's going to hit 2. We're going to keep Galarraga in the cleanup. I like Chris Jones in the 3 with my team leading 21 homers. We're going to go, I guess, Dante 5th because he's got, you know, a little more power, more slugging than Hubbard. We'll go Hubbard 6th, Jayhawk, and then Craig Counsell. Let's see, what's Girardi's OPS here? They're real close. Oh, yeah, he's been a little cold lately. We're going to keep Jayhawk in. And then we're going Craig Counsell. He is a top 100 prospect in the game. Doesn't show what he's ranked on this screen. I'd have to go back all the way, so we won't look at that. But well, maybe we can. Can we go to the BNN page here? Well, maybe, yeah, I don't think we can. So anyway, he's a top 100 prospect. He's only had 28 at-bats. I brought him up kind of at the end of the year here when Vinny got hurt because he was just tearing it up in AAA. So I'm going to give him the start. You know, I don't know if I really have much better of an option. Young's not having a great year. Brought him up late. He was doing okay in AAA, but just a high on base percentage, that's it. He's fast, though. So anyway, that's what we're going to do here. We got Young and Cole to pinch run. Let's see. We got Butch Henry going. He is our ace. He's having a good year, 365 ERA with 14 wins. So that's who I want going. And we'll see if we can take down Smoltz. So I like to sim the first several innings kind of quickly. So I sim up until runners are in scoring position, which is this option here. So we're the away team. We're going to hit first. Looks like we got Chris Jones is on third with 1 out, and we scored a run. So he must have hit a triple. Because it would stop if he got the second for me. So Chris Jones with the triple. Galarraga base hit. We're up 2-0 in the first against Smoltz. Here's Dante. He got a triple. Galarraga scored. So we're up 3-0 now. Trent Hubbard up with Dante on third. Ground out. Jayhawk up. Deep fly out with 2 outs. So we'll take 3 in the first, man, against Smoltz. All right. So here goes Butch Henry. Leadoff double. Is this somehow going to be a slugfest in Atlanta? There's a base hit by David Justice, and it looks like we threw him out at home. So we got 2 outs and a double by Klesko, which scored a run. So it's 3-1. Here's Gant with a base hit. Fortunately, they didn't score. Chipper's up with 2 outs, and guys on the corners fouled out. Okay, wow. So both teams threw 7 batters, while Atlanta's threw 6. That was a quick inning for us. Let's hope we do the same. We got 2 outs with Pendleton on second and Dion up. We're not going to pitch around him. We're going at him. 680 OPS, got an infield hit. Here's Jeff Blauser having a good year, 800 OPS. Dion, of course, steals second. Let's just worry about the batter here. We got 2 outs. Let's get Blauser. Hit him. Hit by pitch. Now we got David Justice. Butch Henry is a lefty. Justice is on fire. There's nowhere to put him. 2 outs here. That's a big pitch. Struck him out looking. All right. So we got the lead still. Coming into the third, leadoff double by Castellano. Both pitchers struggling, man. Chris Jones with a flyout. Galarraga hit by pitch. Man, everyone's wild today. Dante Bichette with 1 out. Guys on first and second. Base hit into right. Am I going to send him? I'm going to send him. I like where he is as they're fielding the ball. And we scored. All right, so we're up 4-1 here. We got Hubbard up. Struck out. Jayhawk. Lining it into the corner. We're sending Dante. That ball is very deep. He scored. 6-1. Craig Counsell now up. And was that a lefty? Did they bring out Smoltz? They brought out Smoltz. They got Mike Stanton in. So we knocked Smoltz out of the game. Didn't even make it through the third. All right, let's see if Butch Henry can shut them down in the third. We did. 3 up, 3 down. Love to see that. In the fourth here, Butch Henry leading off. 3 up, 3 down. 7, 8, 9 now for the Braves in the fourth. 3 up, 3 down. Here's our 3, 4, 5. Chris Jones is on third. Here's Dante up with 1 out. Liner into left, and that scored him. 7-1. Here's Hubbard with 2 outs. He ended the inning. So top of their order, Butch Henry at 57 pitches here. 7-1. We're in the fifth. We're obviously going to let him roll. 2 outs here. Ron Gannup, guys on first and second. Fly out to left. Big pitch there. All right. So we're going to go 1 at a time here because if Butch Henry comes up, I'm going to bunt. So strikeout for Jayhawk. Counsell with a ground out, and now we're just going to let him hit. Got out, of course. So they're at 6, 7, 8. 72 pitches for for Butch Henry. We got 1 out. Guy on second for Pendleton. We're going to go at him. That's fine. Oh, we threw him out at home. Okay. Interesting choice there to send him. That's pretty aggressive when you're down 6. But pitcher spot was up next. Of course, they're pinch hitting. So Lemke is up as a pinch hitter. 2 outs. Ground out to short. All right. Things are going our way so far. Knock on wood here. Butch Henry is at well, we're leading off. I don't know how many pitches he's at. We'll see in the bottom of the 7th. So here we go. 3 up, 3 down for us. Okay, Butch is at 88 pitches. They're at the top of the order. Obviously, we're going to keep him in. He's giving up 1 run. He's pitching a gem. Leadoff double there by Sanders. Fly out by Blauser. I mean, we'll almost trade runs for outs here at this point. So just keep getting outs, guys. Klesko up with 2 outs. Guy on third. Struck him out swinging. Here's our 4, 5, 6 coming up in the 8th. Things are looking good for us. No one in scoring position there. 5, 6, 7 now. Butch is at 100 pitches, but there's no need to take him out yet. We're going to leave him in. 3 up, 3 down, baby. We got Craig Counsell leading it off. Let's see what happens here. Base hit. Butch Henry's at 116 pitches. They have their 8-9-1 coming up. We're up 6. We got to let him try to go the distance here. That I would be a terrible manager. Now, today's game is different, I guess. They would take him out. They're ruthless, but I got his back, man. I want to get him the complete game here. Obviously, we're going to see if he can get down the bunt. He's a 55 on the bunt scale. They're throwing over. Maybe just see if he squares, or maybe they think he's going to steal. We're not going to steal up 6. We're just going to see if we can keep the rally going. We bunted with 2 strikes because I don't want to ground into a double play, and it worked out. Got him over. Braulio now up. Little infield hit there. Guys on the corners with 1 out. Castellano, base hit. So we're up 7. Chris Jones, things are not looking good for the Braves to clinch. They're going to have to go to a playoff. Here's Galarraga with 2 outs, grounded out. Okay, we just have to not give up 7 runs now. It looks like someone got hurt here for us. Who's our 3 hitter? Who got hurt? Who's out? So I don't see a little. Oh, it's Chris Jones here. What happened? Did he get ejected? For some reason, Chris Jones came out. It doesn't say that he's hurt. I don't know what happened there. So we're coming to the ninth. Maybe he got thrown out of the game. He must have gotten thrown out of the game or something. I think it might say in the log. Let's see what happened here. So that's the first. Maybe it doesn't. Chris Jones. Here it is. Yep, here it is. Chris Jones strikes out looking. He argues and is tossed. Come on, buddy. We're up 7 in the ninth, and you're going to argue. All right. So I had him in left. So let's make sure we put someone good defensively out there. Cole's got good range. I'm more concerned about range right now than I am like arm and stuff. So I'm going to put Cole into the outfield. Can he play left? He's a 50 in left, so he's all right in left. That's his best spot. Put him straight in left. Okay. So let's see if Butch can go the complete game. What a way to finish his season if he can. The Braves are on 8-9-1. We're going to one at bat at a time here. Base hit to start it off, Bill Pecota. Greg Jeffries coming in to pinch hit. Got the out at second. So that's someone they traded for. He was, I believe, on the Cardinals. But it's a good guy coming off the bench. Here's Dion up with runner on first and 1 out. Hit him. He's at 125 pitches. I'm going to do a mound visit. Let's see what he says. Got a couple batters left of me. Okay. So we'll let him face Blauser here. Ooh, double play to end the game. What a pitch. What a great job by Butch Henry. Big win for us, man. That was our 72nd win. So the real life Rockies went 64, I believe, and then it would be 98, something like that. 64, 98, something like that. So I'll take 72 wins, especially kind of rebuilding, trading away Charlie Hayes, bringing up a lot of prospects. Yeah, we'll take a win to finish the season against the Braves, man. Hell yeah. So Castellano, 3-hit game. Love to see that. Chris Jones, multiple hits. Dante finished in the season strong with 3 RBIs and 2 hits. And then the pitching line, easy to look at here, man. I'll look at that all day. Gave up 10 hits, 3 walks, but just didn't feel like there was ever much pressure. I mean, it's nice when you're pitching with that kind of lead. Smoltz, he's only 12-13. That's crazy. 3.51 ERA. That's not great for him, but knocked him out of the game early. Okay, so that's the end of the season for us. That's not the end of the season now for the Braves, and the Astros. So let's look at the MLB schedule here. Finished today as it loads here, and so now we got. Looks like we have two. We have 2 playoffs here: the White Sox and the Rangers as well. Yeah, wow. So they're tied in the Stros and Braves. So Yankees and Phillies have clinched, and then we got Rangers, White Sox, Astros, and Braves playing to see who's going to make the playoffs. So we got who are the starters here? We got Wilson Alvarez going for the White Sox against Kevin Brown, the Rangers ace, and over here they got Maddox going now against Pete Harnisch. These will be some good games. So let's go ahead and sim this and see what happens. Let's see. I'd like to go to each team. Let's go to the White Sox team schedule here and just look at the score, maybe even look at the box score. Okay, so season's over. It gives me a little congratulations. Chris Jones was a 2020 player. So it looks like the White Sox lost to the Rangers. Rangers going to be going 4-2. Scored 2 in the ninth, but it wasn't enough for the White Sox. Who had a big game? Mickey Brantley at DH. 3 hits, 2 ribs, but that was for the White Sox, of course. Texas, Palmeiro with 2 hits, only 1 ribby. Dean Palmer with 2 RBIs. So it looks like there was maybe a costly error there as well for the White Sox. Kevin Brown, 8 innings pitched, 4 Ks, no runs given up, 5 hits, no walks. How many Man, did he only throw 76 pitchers? Is that right? Pitches, I mean. Had 28 batters faced. Mike Maddox came in to clean up the ninth. I guess they just didn't want Brown to go the distance or something. Oh, here it is. Okay, yeah, I was wrong. I don't know what that 76. Oh, I guess he was that's a score or something. He was the player of the game. He threw 120 pitches, so that's fair. That's fair taking him out. Over here, Wilson Alvarez knocked him out early, 4 earned runs in 4 innings. Let's see what happened over in the NL. Let's see if the Braves lost to Houston 3-0. So they just couldn't get anything going. So looks like Harnisch humiliated the Braves, spinning a complete game shutout. Maddox only gave up 3. Let's see if they were earned. 2 of them were earned. Went 7 innings, went to Stanton. Tough luck for the Braves, man. You win 100 games, don't make the playoffs. And in real life, they made the playoffs. They had that incredible run. Made the playoffs like every year throughout the 90s. You know, I forgot how many it was, but it was pretty incredible. Not so in this re-sim of 1993. The Stros win the NL West. So let's just make sure we don't have any housekeeping issues here. Here's the power rankings. Let's see. Braves were first in the power rankings. Stros, the underdogs, at number 5. Let's see where we finished. Not last. That's what I'm talking about. We were 24th. 4th in runs, 5th in batting average, only 20th in homers. We didn't have a lot of home runs this year, which, you know, I'm fine with if we're scoring runs. So yeah, this is where we're at now. Let's see at the end of the season some of the other announcements. John Olerud hitting 338, winning the AL batting crown, and Jeff Bagwell at 346. I know Galarraga was close. Let's take a look at some end of the season stats. There he is at 342, tied with Tony Gwynn for the batting average crown. Not as important nowadays in real life, but it was a big deal back then, man. Got the highest batting average. Albert Bell leading the MLB with 43 jacks. Then we got Bonds and Justice after that. Let's look at OPS. Bonds at 970, Bell at 970, Bagwell at 970. Batter WAR, Bonds was first at an 8. Here's Galarraga tied for or in 4th for at bats, and he led the MLB in hits. Yeah, he was. I just had him in the lineup all the time, and he was always at the top of the order. I don't have a good backup first baseman. Helton doesn't come around until 97. So in this game, in this universe, I do have rookies imported to their original teams. So we will get Helton. You know, I just think that's a cool way to do it, because then when you get like 4 years down the road or longer, you don't have all these different guys with different teams, you know, where it's totally different. So you will have a lot of guys still with their kind of proper teams, you could say, and you also have a lot of movement with trades and stuff. Here's Griffey. Hadn't really seen his name in a lot of the other stuff, but runs, he's first. He's first in runs. Yeah, where is he? He's not really top 8. Here he is over batter WAR. Yeah, that's a pretty important stat. He's 6th. Yeah, home runs, is he up here? Home runs, he's not. He didn't hit 31 or more. RBIs, he's not up there. Obviously, that kind of depends on your team getting chances with guys in scoring position. But OPS, he's not up there. So, yeah, maybe not a great year for Griffey. Let's see how he did. 283, high on base, 373, and slugged 513. So, no slouch, but he's not way up there. So here's Braulio Castillo and Chris Jones leading in triples. That's because of Mile High Stadium. You get extra base hits, or got a good chance for those things to be triples. Also, Braulio second in strikeouts, so he does strike out, but I don't really care about that. I'm looking at OPS. Let's look at pitching leaders here. So Jose Mesa, the starter for Cleveland, leading in wins with 21. Pete Harnisch, Houston's ace, 2.21 ERA. Randy Johnson, number 2. Looks like Wegman with Chicago Cubs at 23 losses. Oof. Charlie Hoff, the 45-year-old pitcher. Oldest pitcher, I believe, still to this day to start an opening day. Stan Belinda for Pittsburgh, leading the MLB in saves. Greg Maddux, best in WAR. Here's Kevin Brown leading, tied for 3 other with Fernandez and Hershiser for shutouts. Maddux complete games. Juan Guzman strikeouts. Blue Jays did not make the playoffs. So yeah, let's take a look here. Let's get ready for playoff coverage. Yankees, Rangers, Phillies, and Stros. Let's sim this out here. We'll go to maybe the final game of the World Series if it makes it that far. So we just have some other minor league announcements and stuff here. So here we go. Best of 7 in the league championship series. Looks like everyone is tied at 1 so far. Phillies and Rangers looking good. Phillies still up a game. Yankees now with 3. And Phillies are going to advance. Texas pushed it to a game 7. And Texas now making it. So we got 1993 redo sim, Phillies and Rangers. Interesting 93 changeup here. So in real life, the Blue Jays won it. Was that against the Braves? I think it was, right? Is that against the Braves? Yeah, Blue Jays won it. Obviously, the big Joe Carter home run in 93. But now we got Rangers and Phillies. So, oh, was it the Phillies? Did the Phillies make it in 93? Might have been the Phillies because, I remember Mitch Williams, wild thing. I think he was pitching in the World Series. I don't think that was the league championship series. I should know that, but Blue Jays won it. So let's see how we pan out here. Can the Phillies get the 93 World Series? They're up 3-1 now. So it's looking good for them, and they won it. So good for them here. Here's their team. Let's see it. Let's see what the final score was here. I think we can look at that. We go to their schedule. See if we can look at the box score here, that final game. So here it is, the win versus Texas on the 23rd. Oops, clicked out Texas. Here we go. 4-3. Let's look at some of their score. 5-3, 4-3, 4-2. Man, pitching did great. Hitting was good enough. 9-5 in their first win. Lost the first game 7-3. So let's see. Looks like they rallied here after Texas got 2 in the 8th. They got 3 to give them the lead in the bottom of the 8th, and then they held them in the 9th. Who came in for the close? We got Mark Davis coming in for the save. There's Mitch Williams, wild thing. They have his nickname up here. And Kurt Schilling didn't get the win, but quality start, pitched outstanding. Looks like LeBrant gave it all he got, man. And Mike Maddux got hit pretty hard. LeBrant might have been the Braves' number 5 guy in 93. Let's look at his real life stats. Well, he was on Texas in 93. He was with the Braves in 92. And he was all right. He was above average, slightly above average. But he was their starter. He pitched a great game. Texas couldn't out-hit him. That was their MO. They hit this year. They had Palmeiro, Pudge. Pudge had 2 hits, hitting 383 in the playoffs. Palmeiro only 182, 1 home run. Wangan did all right. Let's look at some of the Phillies guys. Eisenreich and Manto having, pretty good playoffs. Yeah, and other than that, it was a pitcher's game, pitcher's duel here. So that's it for 93. So I'm going to enter the off season. I probably won't right now, but I will later on. We'll come back in 94, show you how that's going. And thanks for following the 1993 season. This was video number 5. We did 5. It's a series. I have them all linked in the description. You can click on each prior one to view it. And this was fun. So I'm looking forward to building the Rockies here. We'll see if we can get a little bit better pitching. Butch Henry was great. Sanford I brought up at the end of the year as a prospect. He actually got rocked in his last game. He was doing real well before that. Dave Need, I kept him at 2. We got Armando Reynoso, was a great pitcher, but he's hurt all the way through most of next year. But really proud of our bullpen. Some ridiculously good ERA numbers here for the Rockies. Where did we finish in bullpen ERA? We were 9th. So, you know, not great. It was definitely, it was a pitcher's year. You know, if we were 9th here, I mean, we do have some guys that have high ERAs, but I used a lot of the innings from the guys that are, you know, Parrott under 4, Blair under 4, Holmes a little bit over 4, and then Service Reed and Ruffin, my setup guys and closers, getting a lot of innings, and they were under 3. Ruffin was under 2. So excited about our pen. We don't have a lot of change. We're not losing a lot of guys. Here's our upcoming free agents here. We'll go to organization, upcoming free agents. And then I'm gonna purchase his contract. In fact, I might just do that right now. Say promote to Colorado. So that's going to put him on the secondary roster because I don't want to lose him to free agency. But his minor league free agency was up. So Terry Wells is the only player here that I'm going to be losing. And he had a 4.33 ERA in AAA, 26 walks and 52 innings. It's a high accuracy scout on him. He's got 20 control. He's 30 years old, so we're not gonna re-sign him. But how we're looking here is 1.3 for free agents. That could change. We'll see what my owner says. In fact, we'll take a look here. So I'm just gonna give it a quick save, just in case you know, once in a while the game does crash. It's probably because of my crappy computer. But I want to give it a save, and then we'll take a look at day 1 of the off season because it does give you some updates here, like the owner updates and whatnot. So let's check that out here. Finish today, off season starting the next day. We're just loading here. And your owner will give you an update. I think there's a few other things. It might have the top 100 prospect list. Okay, we're back. So it's telling me I got a fine score. I'll take that. 501, whatever that means. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. But here's our updates. Council's still a top 100 prospect. Jason Bates is still up there. And Jayhawk Owens now is my next best guy. So he's up with Colorado. Looks like Quentin McCracken is below 109. So earlier he was like 120 or something. Let's just take a quick browse at some of these messages here. So I have a new budget. I don't know if this is an increase or a decrease, but let's see here. I got a big increase. All right. So, you know, my owner here is hands off. He's an economizer and his priority is profit, but we still, you know, we must have had maybe good ticket sales or something here. Well, 28th in attendance. So whatever reason, we got more money. So we've got $4 million for free agents. That'll be exciting. $5 million for extensions. But like I said, we're not really looking to extend anybody. So I like the future. We have a really low player payroll right now. It's got to be last. Oh, it's not. It's second to last. I assume maybe the Marlins, being the other expansion team, are last. But here's our salaries. Galarraga's on the biggest money, 2.8 million. And then after that, Parrott, he was a decent reliever for us. He's the next best. Ruffin, who was a good, solid reliever for us. He's the next highest. And after that, a lot of guys, what's the minimum? It's like, 154 here. Or I guess 117 is the minimum. Maybe, 117 is that's the minor league minimum or something. That he's on doesn't have any major league service. I think 154 has got to be the minimum because that's what all these guys are on here. Yeah, Nen I just brought up. So my payroll is looking good as far as maybe being able to go out and get some big names. I like to get some good pitching. That's exactly what we need. This is our final year in Mile High in 1994 before we go to Coors Field. Hopefully, you know, maybe we can make the playoff, the wild card. I mean, that'd be impressive. They did it in real life in 95. But yeah, now of course, we've got So this is last year, but yeah, now it looks like they have reordered it. So we've got an East, a Central, and a West. So had this panned out this way, the Braves, the Stros, and the Dodgers would have all made it. But as we know, the Stros and the Phillies. So the Braves would have beaten the Phillies. Phillies would have made the wild card at 90 wins. So yeah, you got to be good to make the wild card, which is what I liked about back then. The one wild card, you really still had to earn it. Nowadays, man, I don't know. Baseball is just following suit of NBA and NHL, where like half the teams make it. I mean, if half the teams make it, you theoretically you could be 500 or below 500 and still make the playoffs. So that's one of the things I liked about the 90s. I did like the addition of the wild card. I thought that was fair because this is so cutthroat, man. You win 100 games and you don't make the playoffs, which happened in the game here and in real life in 93. I believe 93. It's the Giants. Anyway, let's see what other I'll do all the arbitration. That's going to be boring for you to watch. Here's the top 100 list. New list out. We got Giambi now is the top prospect because Chipper is no longer prospect status. Yankees are the number one organization. They got Jeter, Pettit, Sada, Rivera, and Tom Wilson. Looks like he was a third baseman. Here's the Stros coming in second. Let's see where the Rockies are. We are 24th. Look at the poor Brewers with nobody, and the Reds, nobody. So we're 24th with Counsell and Bates, our only top 100 guys, both middle infielders. So, I'm glad I got rid of Charlie Hayes as a third baseman because like all these guys can play third. I got Gerald Young was having a great year for us. We got rid of him, traded him to Texas. Don't know if they'll re-sign him or what, but he was a shortstop. So I think that was a good move. I got something out of him, even though, maybe I felt like I could have got more, but I wasn't going to be able to re-sign him. Well, now maybe I could have with the money that I have, but there was no way to know that. And even then, I don't think he was he was asking for top money, like $2 million or more. And that's a big chunk of my salary right now, of my payroll. So that's how it's going to go here. I'll update you on the 94 season when we get rolling with that. So thank you for watching.